Afghanistan has blamed Pakistan for the recent Kabul terror attacks. Afghanistan has sent a top-level team to Pakistan with proof of Pakistan ISI involvement in these recent terror attacks. Afghanistan's interior minister and spy chief are in Pakistan. They're confronting Pakistan with proof. Afghanistan is saying that ISI trained terrorists involved in the Kabul terror strikes, and that ISI trained these terrorists in Chaman in Balochistan. In terms of proof, we are being told that night vision device found on terrorists procured by Pakistan Army from the United Kingdom. Joining me now on the broadcast is Afghanistan's ambassador to India, Dr. Shaida Mohammad Abdali. Also with me is India's former High Commissioner to Pakistan, Ambassador G. Parthasarathi. Ambassador Abdali, I want to understand from you, sir, what is the direct evidence that Afghanistan has about Pakistan's involvement in recent terror attacks in Afghanistan?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Gaurav. This morning, the government of Afghanistan sent the interior and the intelligence chief to Pakistan to share the evidence that traces to Pakistan after the attacks in Kabul.
Okay, what we're also being told, Dr. Abdali, is that Pakistan, their Prime Minister called up Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani for condolence. Afghanistan said, we are not interested in your condolences. We want action against terrorists. He refused to take that phone call. But sir, is the evidence about the involvement of terrorists based in Pakistan, or is the evidence about ISI involvement in training and launching those terrorists?
Well, the evidence is clear which is the terrorists had been directed, the attack had been planned and instructed from there to conduct those terrorist attacks in Kabul. This is so clear that there is no any doubt about this, and therefore the Afghan government has sent a delegation to Pakistan with the evidence that these terrorists had been trained, the planning had taken place there, and the instruction had given to them so that they could blow up in Kabul, the military academy and the Intercontinental Hotel both.
Why is this happening, Ambassador Parthasarathi? What is the wider game plan that within a span of a week, 10 days, 3 major attacks take place on the military academy, on the Intercontinental Hotel, and that's almost exactly like the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, Ambassador Parthasarathi?
Well, going back to this, our own embassy was attacked by the Haqqani network in 2008 July. We lost our military attaché, a brigadier, and a colleague of mine, a councillor. And we worked with the Afghans and gave Pakistan the evidence. They did nothing. Look, this is a country, Pakistan, which has kept Osama bin Laden for 13 years and said they didn't know about it in a cantonment. So it's what they're doing is a joke. So I think, yes, we've heard this coincidentally today with some very strong words from President Trump.
Yes.
And I think we all, whether all of us who suffer from terrorism, whether it's the US or India or Afghanistan, need to work together to see that realistic pressure is put on Pakistan.
Okay. Ambassador Abdali, from what we've been able to gather, there is a confession of a terrorist. There's a confession of a terrorist father that Pakistan ISI trained these terrorists in Chaman, Balochistan before launching them. What we also know is some night vision devices were recovered. What more can you tell us, sir? And what does Afghanistan expect from Pakistan?
Well, clearly our expectation is to stop the use of terrorism against the Afghan people and our international partners. If you have seen the last few days, these attacks were not only aimed, and of course, obviously more aimed at the Afghan people, but at the same time we lost foreign nationals. Therefore, it is really a serious issue, and the world community must take it very seriously, because this is a complete declaration of war against the Afghan people and our international allies. And our expectation is not only from this region, but from the whole world community, that the terrorist attacks in Afghanistan are getting serious and serious day by day, and this is almost a genocide of the Afghan people. Therefore, we hope that the world community will increase the pressure and use all means available to stop the use of terrorism from Pakistan against the Afghan people.
Those are very, very strong words you're using. You're virtually saying that Pakistan has declared war on the Afghan people. Pakistan is committing genocide in Afghanistan, Ambassador Abdali?
Well, the loss of lives that we have seen the last few days is nothing but a genocide. You lose over 100 people in one single bomb, and that bomb is also coming from across the Durand line. Therefore, it can't be described anything else but a genocide.
Very strong words, very strong action is expected. But Ambassador Parthasarathy, what action can the world community take at this point of time? Because 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, 166 people were killed. There was direct evidence of Pakistan involvement, whether it is Hafiz Mohammed Saeed or Pakistani state elements, David Coleman Headley's interrogation, yet Pakistan did nothing against terrorists.
Look, the more things change, they are the same. You said that they are operating from Chaman in Balochistan. Let me remind all of us in India and abroad that the hijackers of IC-814 were taken out by the Taliban through Chaman. So Chaman is a long-time route of the ISI and of the Taliban. As for pressure, I think, look, there is a $10 million thing on the head of Hafiz Saeed. I think we should pressurize the Americans, we and the Afghans, to put a $10 million reward on the head of Sirajuddin Haqqani, who I know has got houses everywhere in Peshawar, in the tribal areas, and even in Rawalpindi, Islamabad.
Okay.
So he is really the longest timing asset of the ISI. So,
tangible steps.
Yeah, no, the tangible steps should be very clear. I think you should make it very clear that it's not on the head which matters, the reward. The reward is fine. Get people to do it.
Okay. Ambassador Abdali, taking out Sirajuddin Haqqani or putting a reward on his head is one suggestion that comes from Ambassador Parthasarathy. But the timing of these attacks, why is it that one after the other, it's only now in the month of January that we see this big attack on the Intercontinental Hotel in Kabul. We see this car bomb where unfortunately more than 100 Afghan friends lost their lives. Some foreigners were killed in the Intercontinental Hotel attack, and also the attack on the military academy. The timing and why is Pakistan doing this?
Well, it's clearly the response to the call of the world community to stop the use of terrorism, and therefore we have to take this as a very serious case. After the announcement of the US South Asia policy, these attacks have increased.
Okay, but Ambassador Abdali, if I may, Pakistan claims it is cooperating with Afghanistan and with the United States. Pakistan claims they've handed over 27 suspected Taliban terrorists to Afghanistan, including Haqqani network operatives.
Well, you see, we have to clearly see the end of terrorism. Basically, the tactical moves from time to time have not given us the result that we seek, and that is that we want an end to the use of terrorism. A few individuals given will not solve the problem. The problem will only be solved if we stop training grounds, the safe sanctuaries given to these terrorist groups there, and that should be practically shown to the Afghans and the international community.
Okay, Ambassador Parthasarathy, US President Donald Trump in the State of the Union address, he did not name Pakistan, but he very clearly said future assistance will only go to friends. What signal will this send to Pakistan?
Look, what the Americans have done thus far by way of squeezing Pakistan is chicken feed. What they've stopped some $500 million of aid. It's no big deal. But remember one thing, and we should remember, Pakistan is facing a dire foreign exchange crisis. China may give $50 billion. It is not foreign exchange. China gives loans which are near commercial and then takes back the money like it has done in Sri Lanka, and they are forcing the Sri Lankans to even virtually hand over.
So squeeze Pakistan financially.
Financially, and the way you can do it, and the Americans can do it, and we can all do it, is get America's European allies and other allies, notably Japan, Germany, UK, France, to stop their bilateral assistance. Squeeze the assistance going to Pakistan through the World Bank and the ADB.
Okay.
The Americans and the others have the votes in the world in these institutions to do it. So I mean, they'll have to be real. Okay. I mean, Pakistan, if you say $500 million, you're going to laugh.
Good
the other
point
one more point.
Let me quickly get in Ambassador Abdali. Ambassador Abdali, will this work, squeezing Pakistan financially in terms of not letting them get a loan from IMF or getting Japan to cut back on aid? Also, US President Donald Trump said our military is no longer undermined by artificial timelines. We no longer tell our enemies our plans. What does this indicate, Ambassador Abdali?
Well, we fully back the new US policy, which clearly indicates strong actions against terrorism. But we believe it is not enough to simply go by sanctions. There is a need for much more, because we see terrorism used and, of course, financially getting resources from various other means. Therefore, it is time that we take multiple actions and a comprehensive one which deals with soft and military power to be used against the use of terrorism. Therefore, there has to be a meaningful response, and there has to be a collective that comprised of all means available.
Okay. Ambassador Parthasarathy, Afghanistan has given evidence in form of night vision devices, in form of a terrorist caught alive. There is other evidence that the Afghan team is carrying to Pakistan. Will this force Pakistan to act? What are tangible steps that India, Afghanistan, the United States, the region, what steps can be taken?
Firstly, I wish my Afghan friends the best of luck, but I can assure them they will do nothing. After all, we did an unprecedented thing of allowing an ISI team to the Pathankot Air Base. We gave them evidence of phone calls from the Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters in Bawalpur. They did nothing. They said, no, not enough evidence, and laughed at us.
Okay.
So, look, mere evidence of this type does not work. As I said, firstly, the economic squeeze. Secondly, I think you asked about Afghanistan. I think a PM is going to United Arab Emirates. He is also, the President Rouhani is coming here. The Ambassador Abdali would recall when I was last in Kabul, there was also an Iranian group there. So I think we should work with these countries to regionally turn the screw.
Ambassador Abdali,
closing comments. We've had a summit meeting already of the three of us.
Absolutely.
Let's look ahead.
Will regional pressure work on Pakistan, squeeze them financially, stop military aid, put sanctions on ISI officers and their families from traveling abroad? Will that work, Ambassador Abdali, and get the region to put sanctions on Pakistan? Because China continues to support them.
Well, I think the region has. Well, I think the region has much more in this regard as well. This region has not done much to collectively use our means available, which are financial, economic, and military against anyone. Basically, in this case, it is Pakistan that has not cooperated so far. Therefore, the region, coupled by the international community, the US policy, has to be reinforced by the regional unity. And I think we don't see much unity right now. The region is disunited, and there are petty politics involved, and that drives the region to more division.
Oh, absolutely. So 3 steps you want against Pakistan to ensure it does not spread terror in Afghanistan and in India, Ambassador Abdali.
Can you say that again?
3 steps you think that need to be taken against Pakistan to ensure it does not use terror as state policy.
Well, we have to unite. The unity is very important, and then also build trust among ourselves. We don't see the trust that existed before among the regional players, and right now this unity has caused and this given freedom to further use of terrorism. So I think the first thing we should do is to unite regionally, and at the same time build consensus on a common strategy against the use of terrorism and against terrorism as a whole. and then go along with the world community, particularly the US-led mission in Afghanistan has to succeed.
Yes.
And that can only succeed if the region rallies its support behind this global mission.
Okay. Ambassador Parthasarathy, is it also time for countries, individuals or this coalition to take out terror heads, take out Sirajuddin Haqqani, take out Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, neutralize the threat?
I have no qualms about this. If a terrorist, after all, Haqqani was responsible for the killing of an Indian brigadier in Kabul. So I think we should do whatever is necessary, do it in together with our other powers, including the US. For example, in the UAE, a lot of the Taliban go in and out. Most importantly, we should get the Taliban office in Qatar closed. Okay. And Qatar is an American ally. Why shouldn't it close the Taliban office?
Absolutely. These are very tangible steps that need to be taken for the moment. Ambassador Shaida Mohammad Abdali, Afghanistan's ambassador to India, and Ambassador Parthasarathy, many thanks for joining me here on India Today. We will continue to track developments on this story very closely. We will continue to report non-stop on Pakistan's support to terror and world's efforts to ensure terror does not remain Pakistan's state policy.